For a weekend brunch, I like nothing more than baked eggs. And there's a whole load of different versions from different areas in the Middle East and even from some other areas in the world. But today, I'm going to go for Persia, and we're doing Persian eggs. So I'm just heating this pan nice and hot. We start, as I always do, with some extra virgin olive oil into the bottom of the pan. And then we're going to saute some, I tend to go often for red onion, mostly because I like the flavour a lot more, but also that gorgeous purple colour is coming from some extra antioxidants and things that are in there. So I like the taste and I like the extra nutrition. So popping in my red onion, and we're just going to saute that for 2 or 3 minutes until it starts to soften. Be very careful you don't have the pan too hot because I don't want this to brown. I really want the veggies to be lovely and soft, giving the flavour without giving any of that sort of, burnt or caramelised sort of flavour into it. So saute that just for a few minutes. We can add the garlic. And I've gone for quite a lot of garlic here. Obviously, you just vary the garlic to what suits you. So here we've got some cumin, and the fragrance that starts coming up from the pan as these spices start to fry in the oil, it's just beautiful. And then I've got some paprika, and it's up to you whether you use smoked paprika, sweet paprika, hot paprika if you want a little bit of a kick into your eggs. I'm using some smoked paprika, which just has that lovely, literally a smoky type of flavour that you can smell as well coming up from this pan. I'm popping in my capsicum. And just, cut your capsicum and your onion up nice and small so you don't have too many big chunks of it. We want it to be like a kind of chunky sauce. So, and then while those veggies are just softening, I'm going to go for a little kick of chili. So with chili, if you're making it for the family and you've got young kids who don't, or anyone who just doesn't like the chili, take the seeds out, or you can of course leave the chili out altogether. I'm going to go for a little bit of kick because I like my chili. That's a compound called capsaicin that gives chilies their hit and their spice, and it's really, really good for you. It's another of those kind of medicinal compounds once it gets into your body. So I'm putting in a whole red chili there, giving it all a good stir. I'm going to add some salt at this stage. I try not to use too much salt, but a little bit does just bring out those flavours. And some black pepper. Most of the salt in our diet, about 70% of it on average, is actually coming from packaged, highly processed foods. So if you're not using too many of those, then you know what? You can add a little bit of salt in your cooking. Okay, that's looking really good. I'm going to pop in some tomato paste and some fresh tomatoes. Now, often I add canned beans. Today, I'm going to add some canned lentils. Now, this is a question I'm asked all of the time about whether it's just as healthy to use canned lentils, beans, chickpeas, and so on. And yes, it absolutely is. This takes away all of those hours of soaking and cooking that you often have to do for legumes. And it means you're going to get them into your diet more often. So your goal is to get legumes into your diet, about 3 times a week. So if you use them canned, it's so convenient. You can throw them into dishes like this, pop them into your pasta sauces. Lentils are brilliant for making your, bolognese, for example, go a lot further, make that meat go a lot further. Plus you're adding all that goodness, all that plant protein and fibre and so on that you're going to get in the lentils. Okay, that is looking really, really lovely. And finally, I'm going to pop through some of my greens. So I've got some baby spinach. Now, it looks like it's a huge amount of spinach, but of course, once it wilts down, spinach goes away to almost nothing. So I'm just going to wilt in that spinach. Now, I'm going to add just a touch of water and fold in that spinach. Do a little bit more. I like my greens. That is smelling absolutely fantastic. Now, don't overcook the spinach at this stage because it is also going to go into the oven. We can turn that off. And here I've got a couple of, this is actually enough for about 4, but if you've got little dishes like this, or I have some cast iron kind of ones at home that I often use, then it just looks so lovely to serve someone up an individual bowl. So you just make sure that they're oven proof. Pop some of this gorgeous spiced lentil tomatoey mixture, making sure you get some of that spinach in there, into our bowls. Gorgeous. And then Make a couple of little kind of dents where we're going to crack in our eggs. Carefully crack your eggs in. Hopefully this is going to work for me where I don't break the yolks, because it does look much prettier if you don't break the yolk. And how long you put them in the oven just depends on how you like your eggs cooked. The real goal, and the way I think it's nicest, is if the eggs are still just a little bit runny in the yolk. Now this is ready now to pop into the oven, and it's going to cook for about 10-15 minutes, depending how well done you want your eggs. Okay, these are looking absolutely perfect, just how I like it. It's a really tricky thing, you know, to get that white perfectly cooked, but still have a little softness and runniness, gooiness in the yolk. That's your perfect baked egg. Now I'm just going to top this with some feta that I'll literally just use my hands to crumble over the top. And feta adds that gorgeous sort of tangy, slightly acidic, crumbly, cheesy flavour. And then the secret ingredient is some lovely dukkha. This has got some pistachios, some sesame, different spice mixes, some hazelnuts. So make up a mix of dukkha and you can use it in lots of different ways. And then finally, just a little fresh coriander to finish it off. Just roughly chopped, sprinkle on the top. Not too much, you don't want it to overpower the overall dish. And then serve up with some toasted sourdough perhaps to dunk in and soak up all those lovely juices. Persian baked eggs, it's a weekend treat, so this can be brunch, it can be lunch, it can even be a light dinner. I absolutely love this dish.